Good morning. Today, third day presentation, and my topic is decolonizing the self, Gandhi and Fanon on violence and agency. This is my personal details. Fanon, French Fanon, born on the island of Martinique under a French colonial rule. French Omar Fanon was one of the most important writers in back Atlantic theory in an age of anti-colonial colonial liberation struggle. He worked drew on a wide area of poetry, psychology, philosophy, and political theory, and its influence across the global south has been wide, deep, and including. In his lifetime, he published two key original works, Black Skin, White Mask in 1952 and The Verges of the Earth in 1961. Collection of essay, A Dying Colonizing and Toward the African Revolutions, post-military, published in 1964, around the protein of a radical thinker in Motin, moving from the Caribbean to Europe to North African, Sub-Saharan African, and transforming his think at each stop. The 2050 collection of unpublished writing, Heretic should license it liberty, while surely expand our understanding of the origin and in collect contact of Fanon thinking. Fanon engaged two fundamental issues of the days: language, affect, sexuality, gender, race, and races, religious, social formation, time, and many others. He impact immediate upon arrival in Algeria, while in 1953 he was appointed to a position in a skate psychiatry at the village Joint Villa Hospital. His practitioners in the Algeria revolutionary struggles staffed his think from theorisms of blackness to a wider, more ambitious theory of colonization, anti-colonial struggle, and vision for the post-colonial culture and society. Fanon published in academic journals and revolutionary newspaper, translating his ridiculous vision of anti-colonial struggle and decolonization for a variety of endurance and geographics. Where there whatever young academic in Paris, a member of the Algeria Nation Liberalization Fund, ambassador of Ghana from the Algerian pro-relations government, or revolutionary participant at conference across Africa. Following a Deacons at the short battle with Likima Fanon was transported to the Persat, Maryland for the treatment, and he died at a National Institute for Health Fancy on December 6, 1961. His work, The Problem of Blackness, Algeria, Black Africa, The Wedges of the Earth, the case study, legacy and influence to colonization, Gandhi and Fanon, the two anti-colonial figure Mohandas Gandhi and French Fanons are not worthy in that they integrate as complex and of through relations between decolonization, violence, and agency. They share the conceptions of the colonial structure that understand its deep influence of the self-protection of colonized and the and aim in on those previous years effect of contrast between Fanon called new humanities, though ridiculous political actions. These essays focus on their point of these Verge is the most effective way to achieve these common goals. While Gandhi was an absolute prefect committed to ahimsa, non-violent resistance as the machines for achieving India's independence. Fanon called for violence in the decolonization of Algeria. A comparative study for the disparative philosophies and the two instant Fanon's theory of violence effectively modulus anti-colonial support, but the new Algeria society in constructed ironically repeated colonial power demonized. Gandhi influence of Indian nation building by contract inspired an attempt to transfer this dimension. Although the violence of partition and Gandhi existence force the question the realism of the idea of humanity can reveal itself peacefully at the art creation of the search of return of a fantasy. Fanon and Gandhi on violence in decolonization. In the start of decolonization, Europe and five country with Europe colonization, and another country is Africa, Oceania, America by two subjugated Europe, British and Russian Empire, and 178 countries to the independence of the Europe subjugated. The breaking of the method down into the simplificate discomity nations decolonizing themselves. Uh, either though violent revolutionary or non-violent resistance. Both methods have their supporter and political philosophers ready to extol the virtue of their chosen path of liberty. One of the most prominent supporters of violence, who the psychiatrist and revolutionary French Fanon, while those he for on non-violence often readily around the lessons lower and pre-FST Mahatma Gandhi. The two men are not world apart from each other in their outlook on life. Both grow up under the rule of colonial power. Fanon in a French controlled Marintuki and the Gandhi in British controlled India. Both men experienced discriminations throughout their lives due to the color their the skin, despite being both beings highly educated in well represented professions. Finally, both men recognized the needed for colonized people to reject the culture of their colonial master and embrace their indigenous heritage. Despite their similarities, Fanon and the Gandhi arrived at a very different conclusion between the grounding the path to independence for the colonized people of the world. Their difference is centered not just on the effectiveness of violence versus non-violence in decolonization. Both methods have triumphed and failed over the decades. Fanon and Gandhi also asked themselves if the use of violence in pursuit of independence was a legitimate, could it be the justice? As can be seen, their writing, we two men give a very different answer which focus with the question. The Fanon write the Wretches of the Earth. In his most famous work, The Wretches of the Earth, Fanon stated decolonization in always a violent phenomenon. It is the complete upending of the social order and the total replacement of the colonial class with the native of the whom island of the nation truly belong. He is a friendly understanding. As Fanon put it, cannot confuse the goal, give the curriculum of colonizing, in which the colonizer see the colonized as the subhuman, brooding and on evil. American is the closest plan that the violent removal of the colonial system is also, according to the Fanon, necessary for the mental health and well-being of the native. He stated, when the native is confronted with the colonial order of things, he finds he is in a state of permanent tensions. The subhuman characterization of the native by the colonial power of damaging to the mental health and indigenous people. For Fanon, overthink the colonial order, though the violence extract the humanity of the native and solitaires for the confidence in that humanity. Therefore, there agrees that the use of violence in decolonization is not just inbelieved, but he is the fully justed. Another side, Gandhi and his Hindu Swaraj. Gandhi, it was not violence that signified that the virtue of the native, but suffering, willingness to suffer, the cues to accept physical and mental harm in the face of the observe without responding to the same tactics was the best course to show the world in integrous people are not subhuman and both capable and describing of the Swaraj or self rules. A Gandhi state in Hindi Swaraj or Indian home rules in the force of the love and pity. His influence greater than the force of arms. There is harm in the excessive, the brutal force, never that the or pity. The Gandhi used the two method, soil rule and the truth rule. The Gandhi argue that the was not colonizer itself that spirit in reduce people of their humanity, but the observes law based passed by their colonizer. Now, he stated it is contrary to our humanhood if you obey a law reviewed to the conscience, such touching is observed to religious and men's severe. Pass the essence to this law, which that the best way to the essence to the humanity or the native educated the message in the pursuit in the independence and during the colonizer to the negotiating table. Therefore, the violence in the pursuit of this goal cannot be the justed. In another side, Gandhi his belief he believe and he sentence of the you can governary use only so long as the remain of the governor. He used of two method, soil force and the truth force. After the colonized India's after the colonized India to the emerge of the from decolonization and rise to two community religious Hindu and Muslims and the partition of the majority Hindu is Indian and another side majority Muslim in the Pakistan. Another side Fanon is Algeria to independent colonization and violence and another is the three main way conversation between truth caste and power Ambedkar Fanon and Gandhi. So the three-way conversation between Fanon, B.R. Ambedkar and Gandhi regarding the question of truth and violence. For the Ambedkar and Gandhi, the relationship between truth and violence is understood to the relation of to the ahimsa. All three thinkers write to contend for the anti-colonial struggle. For Fanon, the question is double dig one of the colonizing takes place under the deep shadow of racism. While for the Ambedkar is the spirit battle seen a part of the untied national nationality struggle against the white colonization, the question of caste to the post untruthly within the society struggling against the colonization. And three, truth, power, and caste. So Gandhi placed idea of the satyagraha against all civilian power in the those words. It is the fundamental problem of satyagraha that the tyrant whom the satyagraha is seek to wrest his power over his body and materially possessed, but he can have no power over his soul. Another side of Fanon, the violence of the colonial remain in the counter of violence of the native balance each other and response to the each other in extraordinary repeal or heminology. This region of the violence will be the more terrible in proportion to the size of the implantations from the mother country. The development of the violence among the colonized people will be proportionate to the violence expired by the treated colonized region. Another side, Ambedkar right to the force of as a Mahatma. He may be trying to the spiritualism politics, whether he has succeeded into or not. Politics have a curtain criminalized him. Politician must know the society cannot bear the whole truth, and that he must not speak the whole truth. He as he is speaking with the truth. He is not bad from his politics. And another side, Ambedkar, he is believe in idea and ahimsa. He is way of the Buddhist. He will kill to need, so we kill to need our colonization. Ambedkar classifies with what he meant. The reason why the Mahatma is always supporting the caste and Varna, because he is afraid that is he observed them, he will lose his place in politics. In his Ambedkar against the Mahatma Gandhi, some points because his caste system in independence before India, Varna and caste, and he believed that Gandhi his caste system and Varna system, and he all in education's different. Behave the Ambedkar Ambedkar. And the another side for Fanon and Ambedkar both truly can only be fully grasped in options to be a power. It is only the deconstruction of the racist colonized remain of the Brahminical law of exclusive that the truth show for them. The idea of soil then works and implement to what the body is suffering against the Gandhi's idea and individuality. Individualist soil. Ambedkar and Fanon agree on behalf of the body collective suffering and demands truth of acknowledge the liberations of that suffering. Anything that fell short of this not really truly. This is my website. Thank you.
Chanvi, my question is, can you please elaborate the term pacifist and name any one politician nowadays who is a pacifist?
Uh, nowadays in politics are many politicians are Pacific in and I think so. So that our prime minister are best. I don't know, but I think so. Pacifist in nowadays.
So, Janvi, my question to you regarding these slides is that was it only by non-violent practices have Indian revolutionaries achieved the freedom? Can you relate Fanon's approach in getting freedom with violence?
Non-violent practice have not revolutionary achieved by freedom in India, while violence over to freedom in India. So I'm just relate to the Faison approach, getting to freedom with violence, to the connect with him, not only freedom with non-violence in across the violence and non-violence, both to freedom in India and country.
Good morning, everyone. My today's presentation on the paper of the postcolonial studies is on the subaltern theory, the subaltern brown women, and the failure of Bollywood cinema in describing the women. This is my introduction. And in today's presentation, we are going to deal with the term post-colonial feminism. We will discuss the Simone de Beauvoir's theory in the second sex, which is talking about the situation and the character of a